with the lovely full moon energies still about, my lovely 5D mystics, the functional adults, anyone who is a differentiated self, learned how to integrate your mind, and so with that integration, you're full on board with compassion beyond a reason. As that lovely Zen tradition story, you are your own Zen master. And humanly speaking, that means you understand that when people have certain types of behaviors that are addictive, compulsive, that's in a lot of different ways, interactions. Many communication styles are not actually of functional adults because those, again, behaviors that people think of only from the external, they're wired in that neuroplasticity. There's bright and dark sides. And since imagination is the neuroplastic agent, we all know what adaptive children, emotionally speaking, or simply put, villain, rescuer, and victim. So these ideas of battlefields, which are actually, even if it's a training ground, it's of a person who's not yet in oneness consciousness. So they're not in a 5D state of consciousness. That's because they're not aligned with their mind, physical, emotional, or / energetic body. So your embodied brain, nervous system, and brain, they're the way it functions when it's integrated. The mind and the body's in a restorative embodied self, which is our actual natural body's way of being, this embodied self. I have to read more on it, but when I do, I'll let my lovely community know. So it's called Restorative Embodied Self. There's a book out on it, and I forget the title, but if you're curious, ask me. And with all of this, the human elements, the spiritual and spirituality, so with Sadhguru, let me read a quote, because he's my spirituality go-to, and he talks a lot about yoga, and how when you transcend different aspects, which in fact are from the adoptive child, emotionally speaking, and a brain that is not integrated completely, because the adoptive child, the mind goes rigid and then chaotic. So they use their maladaptive, as adults, behavior responses. These are the safety responses where unresolved trauma is coming up. And so here, your nervous system, our nervous system, has flight, fight, freeze, fawn, or some are calling fright, attach, cry, collapse, submit, please, appease. So when our body is immediately, this is always pretty much immediate, interacting, brainstem tells the limbic system and the cortex, or any, it's from the brainstem, that we're like, I'm in danger. So you're automatically either going to be in a green or stay yellow, red. And that's what the polyvagal theory Stephen Porges describes. So green is our social engagement system, which integration of the mind has that on all the time. That's my 5D mystics. So those of you who are always enamored with humanity, and you actually don't treat your loved ones as a training ground. So we're not in a battlefield. Nobody needs rescuing. Nobody's a victim. Nobody's a perpetrator. We're not actually doing a criminal show with life. So we're treating our life as a LIFE life. You have relationships. You want to build them or not. Example. When people are jealous or envious. I'm a tarot reader, and I see a lot of 4D tarot readers, but really I should just call them adaptive child, emotionally speaking, tarot readers, because they're supporting the people who actually think of their loved ones and of the people around them as competing with them. So automatically you're not a functional adult. Because if you're actually thinking that you need to pay attention to others around you, you're not able to maintain a green state. You're already in yellow. Fight, flight. You're already defending your position without even anything ever happening. By the way, envy and jealousy are natural emotions that exist because our ancestors, way back when, evolutionary psychology or biology, so you can bring in a lot of different subject matters to understand how humans work, Human 101, and why it's not a battleground. It's just a lot of insecure people, emotionally speaking. The energy body is where, if you're not handling your nervous system, so you're not aware of when you're tensed up, or when you're relaxed. Some people, they don't actually ever want to get relaxed. They always want to do this. I've shown people a couple of times, if you relax your shoulders, their head goes, no. That's their body language. Sensory motor is a very good therapy group of therapists, or somatic experiencing. So they work with your body. So with those of us who are aware of our bodies, so when someone says, oh, you're afraid. Yeah, I'm afraid because you're doing stuff I don't like right now, or you're overwhelming in my space, but I'm not really afraid. But yeah, my body is defending me. So the maladaptive responses are safety behavior responses. They begin with your body, they come out of your mouth, and the predictions in the brain of people that are adaptive children. Well, harsh, unforgiving. There is always someone to battle, and victim, perpetrator, rescuer. So it doesn't really matter which angle they want to take. They're not the spirituality process, and some even do yoga, and they think they are because they're enamored in their own light. Like the ones who also 4D think that there's a battlefield, and they read tarot and say, oh, all these people around you, they're jealous, envious, karmics, not karmic. So here's, again, evolutionary psychology. Jealousy and envy, they equate someone or something is of value to you. So your limbic system, alert, 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 ooh, I see something I want. Because our limbic system actually informs us if we're going to engage with interest or not in something. So that's very fascinating. Another area that we look at. And so when you think you're unworthy, and that's where the shame, defectiveness, heartbreak, gut wrench, torn apart, that no person that's still an adaptive child has actually managed to look at. Because if I say be yourself, be human beings, be a human alone, that's it, no spirit, no nothing, just be a person. And you twitch your nose, you tell me no, why would I want to be myself? I'm going to know that inside your body there's a yucky feeling of you being yourself. And the good psychoeducators will inform you of the strategic developmental process of shame in your body to defend you from when you don't get contingent communication. As you infant need an attachment figure, or you're going to have one, and essentially you're going to develop either secure attachment or not. And that's the minute that you're not seen, and you're not soothed, and you're not safe. So if I don't respond to you, attune to you in a timely manner as a caregiver, I can repair rupture. And that's great. In fact, only a third of attunement is needed for the infant to develop secure attachment. But repair rupture. So if I feed you, but you're not wanting food, you're cold, and I figured out, I've repaired. So the throat. The common theme is also vocalizing from the heart, by the way, for my lovely mystics. Before we run out of time, side note, Sadhguru. This is what spiritual process means, that you have not written off any life because every life is a possibility. Growth is to become like thin air, that your presence is strong, but your personality is like nothing, so you fit into anything. The flexibility is important as a life. He says, sadhana, as a life you are flexible. If you want to do something important in this world, you must be able to fit into any situation and transform that. If you don't fit in, you cannot transform. When you meet functional adults, they know how to handle the adaptive child who throws the inner child's projections of their own household abuser or their projection of idealization onto another human being. And that's because the adaptive child is a human being who doesn't recognize their own attachment system. And they don't know that their body is part of the equation, and that emotions equal energy and motion, the nervous system, your limbic system, but also your cortex and neurofeedback. So a lot of people talk a lot of words, but then when they handle themselves, they're not really knowing, oh wait, I'm getting really tense. Let me breathe rhythmically to regulate my nervous system, because that's all you have to do. Let me calm myself because I'm in an exchange, and even if we agree to disagree, we can do that, or disagree to disagree. We can actually, as adults, maturely have an enjoyable time as we talk about completely opposing conversations. And here's my lovely Greg Braden. I love him to death. Ultimately, you will grow beyond the teachings of the outer masters. The more of yourself that you know, the fewer teachings there will be. The fallacy of the path is that there is really no path at all. There is only your experience. When people learn about the different yoga bodies to align, so to stay in alignment with Purusha Prakriti, which is Purusha is unconditional love, it's pure consciousness, which is what a 5D mystic in the Enlightenment Soul age group is. And mystic because you're going to have some intuition. You're going to have the relationship with the collective consciousness and consciousness, but you know you're not anointed, it's just energy. We were very clear on that in the intuitiveness of our bodies. We're like, yep, it's energy. It's cool, it's all the same thing, because our right mode is fine with the unknown and our left mode isn't ripping the crap out of everything, because that's what the left mode will do. So when you're an adult for real with your brain and your body, you're like, okay, I can talk about anything and everything, and it's okay. Humanity, you guys are awesome. Infinite higher human consciousness potential experiences, which is why family is a playground. And our loved ones, if they're jealous or envious, we reassure them it's okay. You won't lose us, and you can do it too. You can get out of that unworthiness, heartbreak, gut wrench. We're going to be the Zen masters to share compassion with you and see if you want to come on over and have fun with us. Those who don't, 4D, 3D, that's for those people. But tune on in for more on our podcast episodes. We've got plenty going on, and we'll be back Have a wonderful day, everyone.